Get ready to kick off your week with Weeksauce. And if you enjoy this show, find more podcasts like it over at amove.tv. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday. If you don't watch the video version of this show, you miss Kyle doing... Was that the freaking Draenei dance?
Not on purpose, no.
Oh, looked like the Draenei dance to me.
Not really sure what the Draenei dance is.
It's Tanuk Tanuk.
Wait, what?
It's Tanuk Tanuk. You know that song from... I don't know, not America. I don't know what country it's from.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, yeah, with the hand and makes kind of a rainbow in the air. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
I can see how that. Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
it was like you
dance.
were doing like the lean back, like sideways part of it.
I thought you were anytime anyone for like the next several days says anything like Tusk, I'm just gonna think of that awful movie Tusk because
haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's bad. Just skip it.
I love Kevin Smith, but I skipped that one because it did not look like the kind of Kevin Smith that I like. And this is coming from the guy that always complains, don't put me in a box, but want to do something that's not a video game podcast. Roll with it. But apparently I'm putting Kevin Smith in a box.
It's messed up for messed up's sake.
Yeah. The most off-brand Kevin Smith movie that I like is Red State. That's as far as I can get away from Clerks.
Red State.
It's a crazy religious cult movie. It's great.
Oh.
It's actually, I love it. I think it's really well done. But it's pretty messed up.
3 horny teenagers. How the description leads.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. It's pretty messed up. That is a Kevin Smith movie, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, cool. I love it.
I guess John Goodman's in it.
Yeah, he's
to mess with people again.
He's great in that movie. John Goodman has such range, dude. Like when I was a kid, he was just that dude that was in that weird live action Flintstones movie.
Yeah, and to me, he'll always be Emperor's New Groove.
He's in Emperor's New Groove,
isn't he? Now I gotta check.
What character do you think John? It's been a while since I've watched Emperor's.
He's Pacha, right? Yeah, he's Pacha, right?
Yep, you're dead on.
Okay, yeah, because he's so jolly and friendly and
I just forget about everyone except for Patrick Warburton in that movie.
There's a great theory right now going around the internet that the next Star Wars movie should basically be the plot of Emperor's New Groove.
Again, it's been so long since I've seen it, I really don't know how that would translate.
Okay, so Kylo Ren is in his castle, but Weasley brother wants to get rid of him.
Wait, hold on. He has a castle?
In his spaceship. Okay. Sorry, I didn't make the analogy. But you don't even know the movie well enough to make the analogy. Hang on. Anyway, so it starts with Emperor Cusco. He's in his castle, and Yzma wants to kick him out. She wants to take over the throne because he's useless.
Okay, so Nazi Weasley
Weasley wants to kick out Kylo Ren because now his use has been served now that the Jedi are gone and stuff. So they kick him out, and he meets up with Rey, and they go on a buddy adventure through the wilderness, becoming good and eventually facing down the evil at the end.
Huh. Okay. Sure. Although I feel like for 2 Jedi of their talent, it wouldn't be that hard to just cut down a bunch of non-Force wielders.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if like they did like a cut his force kind of thing. I don't know how they do that. Would they have to make like a force destroying machine? And that doesn't sound very fun.
It doesn't, because that's a big plot point in the Heir to the Empire, like Thrawn trilogy stuff. But also, it's not something we've pulled into the movies yet. So,
do they have a machine? I thought it was just the lizards.
Well, it's not a machine, but it's lizards that do basically the same thing.
Yeah.
The end. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a weird salamander thing on a stick. hanging out in your throne, or you could build a machine or whatever. I mean, I think you got to go like dark Sith artifact or something.
Yeah, that's true. Or yeah, like it eats it, and it's in there, and he can have it back, but it's in the crystal. It's Illidan at the moment.
Yeah, we haven't had it in the movies, so I'm okay with that. Where I get annoyed when every Superman movie is, kryptonite, he's screwed. Kryptonite's gone. He wins. Like, it just gets boring after a while. Like, the most interesting Superman plots in my mind are where he's challenged by things that aren't kryptonite. Where despite all of his abilities, he still can't fix it.
Yeah, I don't mind it has to be done, tactically, but I don't mind I'm too strong for this world. If I used all my strength, I'd shoot a hole through it.
Yeah, it's very Dragon Ball Z. I like that.
Yeah, so it's like holding back, but now finally he can't hold back any longer, kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's good. I haven't really thought about that, but that works. I'm okay with that. The Emperor's New Groove, Star Wars Episode 9. Sign me up. Sign me up. Is there? Does Kylo get turned into like a llama?
No, I think the fact that his hair already looks like Cusco as a llama does the rest.
Oh my God, you're right. Oh shit, you're right. Well, it's also like kind of like Scar. Like Cusco in llama form and Scar have the same like color palette.
Yeah, you're kind of right. Man, that slow motion fight. I'm glad we moved away from that slow motion, because I just finished the Lord of the Rings trilogy last night. And other than the slow motion, it holds up pretty well. Even the Total War armies colliding together, they're pretty decent still.
Yeah, it looks real solid. It's some good stuff. What looks great is when all the riders show up, and that's because they actually had like 100 people on freaking horseback.
Yeah.
Those are also, like, what you need to do now, right? You need to go watch all the behind the scenes, because those are some of the best behind the scenes documentaries of any movies ever made.
Yeah, Aliens, so Alien 2 and Jurassic Park. That's the trifecta. That's the three big ones: Lord of the Rings and those two movies. Favorite making ofs.
I have been. I just recently rewatched the making of Jurassic Park. You're right; it is great.
Yeah,
and it reminded me that was a thing I rewatched a ton as a child.
But it's about the challenge. Like that's where the good documentaries come in. They had to deal with their, the stop motion, into the puppets, and into eventually the computer graphics. The movies that aren't good documentaries are the ones where you basically watch a lot of like Schwarzenegger ones. There's not really a challenge there. The challenge is Schwarzenegger and his acting capabilities. And then you watch him sit there like he's on inside the actor's studio, be like, yes. Yeah, I thought that would be interesting. And you're like, well, you were the challenge, weren't you?
That is the most unsubtle FU to Schwarzenegger as an actor I've ever heard. The challenge is his acting ability. Wow, Kyle. Wow.
Hey, it's respect, honestly, because he grew so much. Like that I'm serious about that. Like, it's never going to be the best thing in the world, but the amount of growth from Conan to True Lies is amazing. And he has every right to do that. He has every right to be in that chair, joshing alongside who did Terminator 2, James Cameron. And it looks good, Yeah.
And
he's a different person than he was then.
That is a good point. He blew up so fast that they really started pushing his abilities.
Yeah.
And I think he did pretty well. Obviously, there's a slew of schlocky Schwarzenegger films, but I think they're really fun.
Sure. I mean, look at, I'd say our modern Schwarzenegger with a better start. A higher level start would be Chris Hemsworth, because he really kind of came into his own in this last Thor movie. But much like Schwarzenegger, he did some really good breaks, Cabin in the Woods, things that made you kind of break your mind of where you think he is and what he can do.
Yeah, actually, I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, you're right. Well, although, where's my ultra violent Chris Hemsworth action film?
Surely, I mean, the most recent one I can think of is 300, as just drag him out, smash him.
Yeah, and Hemsworth wasn't in that.
No, he should have been though. I guess he was a little too young. I mean, freaking Michael Fassbender's in that.
God, you're right, he is. I always forget that, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't need to see that much of Fassbender.
Right. I mean, we should fight in the shade, and he's flying through the air. And I mean, he's definitely the smallest of them all, though still plenty built. Though also, I love Faramir's in that too. The brother of Sean Penn.
Right. You get to see everybody's upper thighs. I don't need to see that much of Fassbender's assbender. I really don't.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Whenever Faramir loses the first city, I always say, "At least God fit to give me a spare," as he heads back to his main town.
Oh, it's so good.
I love eyeless Faramir in that.
Yep, just shrugging off the loss of an eyeball.
Oh, it's great.
It's so good. You're right. We don't really have a lot of ultra-violent action films anymore. I'm trying to think. And you're right. The first things that come to my mind are all Frank Miller adaptations. It's like that in Sin City, and that was back when we were in high school.
Yeah, I mean, looking at 2000. Okay, Logan. Logan was pretty good.
Also very serious, though. Like, it wasn't like, which I get, that's probably pretty akin to Terminator 2, actually, now that I think about it. Because Terminator 2 is surprisingly good from a dramatic point of view.
Yeah, it'd be, Logan would be a lot more fun, without the deaths and Patrick Stewart kind of bumming me out, but in a good way, like in a solid way. And I've told you, of course, that he had 3 guys holding the ropes against him so he could walk down the hall with resistance because he's such a beast in that movie.
He's such a beast in all of the movies where he plays Logan.
I love when he does like a romantic comedy right after those movies too, and he still looks just jacked as hell, and you're like, what? Was that for the role? And it's like, nah, he just hadn't come down yet.
I want to see him do more musicals immediately after doing an action film.
Oh man, Les Mis, he just really performs circles around everybody in there, and he's rightfully strong in there. He was a prisoner, and Jean Valjean is supposed to be quite ripped. Yeah, War for the Planet of the Apes was 2017. That was pretty heavy too. I mean, not that I guess 300 isn't heavy.
Yeah, but it's pretty it's schlocky. There's no hardcore drama. Okay, John Wick. There you go. Thank you. Never mind. How could I forget? Because John Wick is probably my favorite movie I've seen in like the last 10 years.
I was going to watch the new Kingsman movie, but...
action movie anyway. Kingsman, yeah.
All reviews.
I haven't seen the sequel. The first one is weird, man, because it's rated R, but they really hold back on the gore.
Yeah, I mean, it gets pretty bloody there in the church and whatnot. And I think the rated R is much like the Matrix are, where it's a glorification of guns that they got the rating for.
Yeah, but it almost bums me out. Like, I wish Kingsman was gorier, because I feel like a lot of the extremely well executed action scenes are kind of like deflated by how PG-13 the aftermath is.
Maybe. I mean, their heads all do burst like fireworks in the end. So.
Well, yeah, that's hilarious. But I also think it would be kind of hilarious if it was like gibbed. Just viscera everywhere.
They're very, I mean, what was it? Do you say Django or is it Django?
Django. The D is silent.
Okay. I think that's only a joke in the movie,
right? It is a joke in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely had, his special brand of soup all over the final scenes.
Yeah. Well, that's also a Tarantino movie. So, okay, I guess they're still around, but it just felt like, man, like the 80s. It was just all the time. Just
yeah.
Between Stallone movies and Schwarzenegger movies, it was just constant over the top gore fest. Felt like, God, Total Recall, man. That movie gave me nightmares for months.
Yeah, the guy melting an acid in RoboCop was mine when I was younger.
Oh, God, RoboCop. Jesus. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's the movie I probably saw when I was way too young. I think of all the movies, I saw a bunch of movies I shouldn't have seen at certain ages, but RoboCop, I think, wins. Like, that is the movie no child should ever see.
It's too much?
Like, you wait till high school to watch that movie. That movie is messed up.
Yeah.
Buh. Why did they make toys for that movie? I had so many RoboCop toys.
Really? Yeah, they also sold Alien toys as well, and particularly for Aliens Resurrection, they came out with a bunch of like animals that were really sweet toys. They had like a snake that shot bullets out of its mouth. They had like a rhino alien, as though, the zoo had been infested.
Oh, okay. I mean, they had them for the original Aliens movies too. I had a bunch of I had a couple Marines from Aliens. I think I had a Hicks action figure, if that was a thing. I'm not sure if I'm remembering correctly, but yeah, looking back, there were a lot of R-rated movies that got toys, dude. I had a Predator action figure. I had a couple Aliens. I had a RoboCop.
Predator. I don't know if Predator would bother me as a kid.
I saw it when I was a little older. I think maybe like 12. Whereas I remember seeing Aliens when I was like 7. So
yeah.
But RoboCop messed me up. That first scene where they like shoot his hand and it just explodes.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. I think, though, children will be afraid of something no matter what, and it's just there's not even a gauge. All they know is 100%. So as I've said before, Yoda disappearing in the bed, 100% scary. Scariest thing I'd ever seen.
Really? That's what got you. Okay.
Have I not told this story?
Because for me, I think we've had this discussion maybe, but for me it was the end of Last Crusade, when the dude just ages before your very eyes. Like I had seen all of the Indiana Jones then. I think Raiders is more grotesque. I think Temple of Doom is more disturbing, but I was just starting to understand the concept of death, and that scene just got into my psyche and ruined my sleep for like a month.
Well, as a kid, you have that much more to go through, right? Like, he's like, what, 50-something as a character? And he's like, what's happening to me? It's like, well, you're getting old real fast. I mean, you know. But as a kid, it'd take a long time, wouldn't it? That scene would be twice as long. And it'd be 3 times as horrifying.
Yeah,
I mean, I was afraid of the painting in the opening room of the Haunted Mansion, because it went from a younger guy to a dead man.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Fair.
The Hounds of Gozer was really one of the big ones.
I liked Ghostbusters a lot. That was a regular watch in my childhood. But you're right. They were creepy. Not as creepy as the undead taxi driver in Ghostbusters 2.
Wait, no, that is in 1. That's in 1, because that's the freeze stupid song as all the ghosts fly out into the world and it goes up the exhaust pipe.
I thought that was 2.
There may be another one, but it's part of that freeze. Freeze.
Maybe I'm
believe it's magic.
I'm getting it wrong. Well, whatever the case. How's WoW treating you, Kyle? Because there's a lot of WoW about to descend upon us.
Yeah, I'm streaming straight to 3 today. So normally what we do is we play Heroes until 1 and then take a 2-hour break and then come back with another game. Lately it's been Frozen Throne. We defeated Frozen Throne. We beat it. Kristen was a champion. It was a 2-hour and 11-minute marathon, that final level. And lots of people in the Twitch chat had advice on how to beat it, how to cheese it. But there was a moment where I rang out and was like, yeah, but I cheated. And everyone in the chat was like, yeah, we all cheated. Nobody actually beat this level. Everybody cheated. This thing's bull.
I don't even remember. It's been so long. I probably did cheat.
Yeah, because we wanted to know the end of the story, right? And, it's not just one gunfight like in Mass Effect or something away. It's a full 2.5-hour marathon of strategy and unit production and queuing them up. And the Night Elves are attacking your base with flyers, and you knock out Lady Vosh pretty early. But, man, it's a marathon. But so we are streaming straight to 3 today and kind of doing a World of Warcraft waiting room kind of situation. We'll keep streaming if it's not up for an hour or so. But Legion was smooth, and I think that's really added to the Christmas atmosphere.
Oh, dude, yeah, they've gotten so much better with Warcraft launches. Just they've learned so many lessons.
I mean, there's always the fear of, just DDoSery.
Yeah, but if it happens, it happens. We're all we're all in it together if that happens. We're all going to, talk about it on Twitter. We'll nerd out. We'll get our Warcraft fix by just nerding, by exchanging links we shouldn't be to private vanilla servers. It's all good.
Guess no one can wait. Please, I gotta get to level 11 on Undead.
Yeah, I'm stoked, man. I upgraded my computer system quite a bit over the weekend.
What'd you get?
I've been saying for years now that I need to upgrade my monitor. And not so much for gaming, way more for producing content like podcasts and whatnot, and also doing graphic design. Because I've been on 1080p up until yesterday. I've still been on 1080p, which is fine for gaming. A lot of the better and affordable gaming monitors with really awesome refresh rates, they're 1080p because you don't really need to go beyond that. You're going to tax the crap out of your card. But for art, it's archaic at this point. Like IMAX have been running 2560 since like 2010. So the fact that I'm still on like 1080 is it's the worst. It's the pits, man. So I saw a sale on a 4K monitor at Best Buy, and I was like, screw it, it's time. And I just went and got it, and I have more than double the pixel density that I had before, and it's a brave new world, Kyle. It's like getting new eyes.
Or a new phone is kind of that upgrade too.
Yeah. I mean,
You're so frustrated with speed.
I know for you waited a lot longer to upgrade. I only went about 3 years between phones, and it doesn't really seem that different.
Oh yeah. And an iPhone 3 to my Google Fi was pretty big.
Holy crap! Yeah, that's going to be a big jump.
It's actually usable now.
I went from a 5 to an 8, and it just works as opposed to being a slow piece of trash, which is what my 5 was. But they look the same, feel the same.
So did you upgrade your graphics card to handle the mighty pixels?
No. I think I have a 980. I haven't made the jump to a more updated card, but it's fine. It's more than fine. I'm not running games at 4K. I'm running the games at 1080.
How does that work? So your screen has a frame?
No, it just compensates for the pixels. Like, because my monitor is the same as it's the same size monitor. It's still a 27-inch monitor. I had a 27-inch monitor before. So to me, WoW, like if I load up WoW and I'm running it at 1080 on my monitor, it doesn't look any different than it did before. So it scales.
Wait, is a 4K not a ultra wide thingamadoo?
No.
Oh.
No, it's still 16:9 ratio.
Oh, because Heroes supports ultra wide something or other.
Yeah, you've got ultra wide monitors now and stuff like that. A lot of racing games do that.
Oh, I thought they were the one and the same.
No, 4K is just the next step up from, HD, and like in terms of like TVs and whatnot. You can go buy a 4K TV right now. It's not ultra wide. Why would you want that? Movies aren't that ratio.
Yeah, that's okay. I gotcha. Huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's much higher, like just pixel density. So it's like having vision that's 3 times better than it was before. Everything is so much more crisp, and you have a lot more just room to work with. Like my workspace in Photoshop is god tier now. It's amazing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because things could be smaller but more detailed.
Exactly.
And since windows are taken up and your history bar and everything else, your brushes, and you lose half the screen anyway.
Yeah. So if I get Photoshop nerd for just a second, I know you're pretty savvy in the Photoshop realm. I have my brushes and my palette side by side on the right side of the screen, and I have way more artboard than I ever had before. If I had done that previously, at 1920 by 1080, I would lose half of my screen real estate to just the palette and brushes. Now it's like it's just tucked on the right side, and you can see everything. It's not hard to click on anything. It's great.
Because the letters can be small now and stuff.
Exactly.
I'm following you.
Yep.
Okay. I played Condemned 2, Bloodshot Origins, or whatever it was called, And it was HD before my TV was HD.
Yes.
So all the investigation parts, I failed because I couldn't read the text.
Yep. I remember playing the first Dead Rising on 360 on a standard, CRT. I couldn't read any of the text in that game. And that's a good example of kind of how this works.
Yeah.
The more pixels you get, like you don't realize. So yeah, it's same basic concept.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's just something I've been putting off, and I just wanted to mention it because, like, if you're out there and you're doing anything on a computer, creative wise, and you're thinking, oh, it can wait. I wish I had spent the money like 3 years ago and spent double on the same monitor. Like, they've really come down, but like it is so worth it. I should have made this jump forever ago.
Well, what was the price then, and what's the price now?
I mean, the price probably 3 years ago probably would have been over $600, and I got this sucker for like $260.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty killer.
Yeah, so a computer upgrade, definitely in that price range.
Yeah, and then I also went and got myself a new keyboard.
Sure. What'd you get?
Well, I actually. Product placement works, Kyle. I am about to tell you that product placement absolutely works, because what keyboards do they have at every station at BlizzCon? The answer is Corsair, if you didn't remember.
Oh.
Every time I go to BlizzCon and I play a game, I'm just like, God, I love this keyboard. It's like because you don't get a chance to go test keyboards all that often, but every year I go back to BlizzCon, I'm like, oh, there's still Corsairs. And I'm clicking and clacking and testing new heroes and Heroes of the Storm, and I'm just like, God, I freaking love this keyboard. So I finally bought myself a Corsair.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it because I've set up a laptop in my old monitor out in the main part of the house with Katie's computer, so we can play World of Warcraft together. So it was a nice excuse. So old keyboard went out there, and now I've got a new one for the office. I love it.
How's the volume? If you unlock yourself, can you give me some tickety tacks?
Oh yeah, I go for cherry red so it doesn't have the click.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people think that's kind of insanity, but I was starting to kind of go crazy with the click of a traditional. I think they're brown switches are the traditional like clickety mechanical keyboard. So this is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So if I really go at it, I mean, you can hear it, but it doesn't have the tactile click when you go past the. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like things to be a little bit quieter for recording purposes. I just got my keyboard. I just moved out into the main part of the house was a Cherry MX Red, and I just got really used to those keys. So it's good. It's good stuff.
Thanks.
Upgrades feel nice, man.
They're fun. They're fun for sure.
Yeah. So I'm ready. Bring it on. 6 o'clock can't get here fast enough. I need to figure out. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go run to Moe's for Moe's Monday, and I'm gonna grab 2 burrito bowls for Katie and I ahead of time, so we don't need to go out.
That's a good plan. That's right. Yeah, you got to make it to 6. That's a bit more of a trek than 3.
I'm actually really happy about it because I have some work to get done.
Sure.
It's like perfect. So I'm gonna get the show posted. It'll be out into the world. I don't have a second show today. We're not doing Embrace the Spoilers this week. We got the week off on that. So I'm gonna get some graphic design freelance done. And then I'll be ready for World of Warcraft.
Nice. I'm definitely treating it like a fickle friend. You know, we're gonna go to the movies. We're all gonna have fun at the movies. But is our friend gonna show up? Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
So I'm planning to have fun at 3 o'clock regardless of what goes down. But I'm certainly pretty damn excited, and it's fun to see the internet so abuzz as well.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled about it.
Oh, speaking of hopefully creating buzz and being thrilled, we have a Warcraft thing to announce that'll be happening on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be streaming World of Warcraft with you, myself, Scott Johnson, are all going to be streaming WoW together on Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Pacific, and we're going to do it for 3 hours. We're going to run 5 mans. We haven't really decided what the hell we're going to do this week because I don't know if we're all going to be max level or not.
But it doesn't matter because of scaling. So we're all good.
Yep. Yeah. So I guess I'll just save my dungeons. I'll save my dungeons for you gentlemen.
I think that sounds delightful.
Yeah. So Fridays are just going to be WoW day for me, apparently. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to do the instance at 11. I'm going to go to lunch. I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to stream World of Warcraft with you and Scott. I'm really looking forward to it.
Sounds pretty good.
It's going to be a good
Sounds
time.
like a good day.
It is going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. So, how are you caught up, dude? Did you play through Lordaeron last week?
Yep. I did the Lordaeron. I got spicy with a gun and mask. I did the thing, saw the stuff, got my gear up to 200, which I guess isn't that big of a number, but doing those daily quests out in the Dark Shore because who doesn't want to kill things a little faster come the come the questing time.
I mean, I had a bunch of raid gear on my characters, and a lot of the daily gear were upgrades.
Yeah.
So, because I didn't raid in Taurus outside of LFR, and some of the greens from dailies are still better than LFR and Taurus.
I did. So this weekend, I was hanging out with my lore buddy, and he was like, "You want to see Gul'dan?" And I was like, "Yeah." I haven't seen any of Nighthold. I haven't seen anything past 5-man Karazhan.
Nighthold is beautiful.
I love Nighthold. And we did LFR together for the Violet Nightmare, and that was tolerable among friends.
The Emerald Nightmare?
Isn't it? Because it's Violet, right? Because it's all Violet Nightmare.
Well, it's all red.
Yeah.
But it's the...
Do they really call that red giant pile of poo the Emerald Nightmare?
Well, it's because it's the corruption of the Emerald Dream.
Yeah, but, I mean, don't call it Emerald when it's red.
That's what it's called. You had me actually.
Okay. Emerald Nightmare.
I was like, is there a thing I forgot?
that was butts. I remember I loved the Klaxi. Like in Pandaria, I got into that like maybe 7 months after it'd come out or something. Finally got into Pandaria, was just leveling through. I did everything in the Klaxi Dead Waste or whatever it was called. I thought they were awesome. And I remember I was like, okay, cool. Like, let's see what they got. And it was just the stupidest, everyone caught in tornadoes, dumbest thing to heal on Earth. Felt completely useless in there in general on a healer in LFR. And so I was like, never again. We did a little bit on that Emerald Nightmare biz, and that was tolerable because I had some friends to hang out with. But we did Gul'dan in LFR, and that was the most insulting business I have ever been through in World of Warcraft. What a stupid, trivial bullfight for a bunch of losers.
Wait, what? Who? Show me on the doll where LFR touched you, Kyle. What the hell happened?
I'd rather nobody see that content with such a bad group. What an insult.
But it's I don't have a defense. My defense for LFR is always just mute the chat and go in with a couple of friends. Just talk to your friends. Don't talk. Treat the other players like AI.
They are. It's just, and people died of just weird ass things that and he's like, I mean, he's literally like forming in wind or something, and he's like, here it comes, and everyone's like, what's coming? Like standing on the edge of the frickin' get blown off and stuff. Like they make up ways to die. Find unique, horrible ways.
Kyle, what if half of your raid is like really young kids?
I know, and then why do they have a sub? I wouldn't pay a sub for my kids, but like it's definitely a problem of me. It makes the world feel bigger when I know there's content I haven't done, and to be able to access it in such a ridiculous way is just not my bag.
Hello. Is this like your first time doing LFR? Because that shit's been in the game since Cataclysm.
No, I know. This is the first time I actually like sat down though and did, because we were talking and we're like, hey, you want to see Nighthold? I'm like, yeah, let's see it. And it was such a disappointment to see Gul'dan, and then Illidan comes out and he eats a second skull. Oh, he just destroys it. Why not get twice as powerful? Then, but he's gonna be like the new host body for Sargeras, and there's like cool stuff happening all around me, and there's just. It's the whole problem when I heard Skyrim was coming out. I don't want somebody dancing on the king while I'm trying to talk to him. And granted, that's kind of a World of Warcraft thing, but, when you get into the raids, I like the seriousness of it. It's why I play ranked modes in the first place. So we actually bailed on LFR completely there. And because both of us were just like, that was stupid. And we went and did Throne of Thunder and Siege of Orgrimmar. And that was really cool because he raids so much that at the beginning of each fight, he'd be like, so this fight it's going to be trivial for us, but this is why it was complete bullshit. And would go from there and tell me why the mechanic was hard and what we had to do. And then we'd run through it and, crit it down in seconds.
Yeah. Well, that's rad, dude. That's fun. I just randomly boosted a Demon Hunter because I didn't know what to do with my boost, and I have too many characters to play anyway. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to see what this is like. And I might go Demon Hunter.
Sweet.
That might be what I'm playing with you as.
That's fine. That's fine. You know, you like being edgy.
I do, Kyle.
Yeah.
I do. Really, it was just I want good damage and tanking. And
Well,
that's the
Scott's
only...
been on Twitter talking back and forth about what he's going to be playing. Has he finalized?
According to our talks last week on the incidents, he's doing a mage.
Oh, mage for him.
He's doing
Neat.
a mage, yeah. So he'll be always damage. He doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, no, I figured as much. And Shadow's actually the first time Shadow's ever been fun, really. I don't think it has its baked-in artifacts yet, but hopefully the core gameplay doesn't change. I love that it doesn't have access to AoEs outside of Void Form, which is such a great, like, explosion, and then you hover, doing this whiz biz.
I would expect a lot of class changes pretty early on into BFA's launch.
Just don't bring back Mindseer. That was just the lamest spell on earth. You target one guy and damage would radiate out from his brain, but he'd be fine. So you'd clear a room and then there'd be one guy standing there still going, huh, and you're like, this is not an AoE.
I'm glad you're liking it. I haven't looked into Shadow at all, but I feel like I've seen some Shadow priests like just floating around. Is that a thing they're doing now?
Yeah. So I mean, you've always had your levitate for when you fall or just want to feel cool.
Yeah.
But they've added those idle animations, and now when you go into void form, you no longer just are kind of off the air Shadow. You're actually like animated, kind of spinning sideways, evil wizard style. And you're supposed to be, insane. You've been overtaken by the void, and you've got insanity, and it looks pretty sweet. In fact, if I was a raiding man, there's that final fight in Argus where you die on purpose over and over again. And there's a thing about the Shadow Priest where when your insanity runs out, you die. So you can really do some cool stuff.
Rad. That sounds like your bag.
Yeah, well, and I like it too because, it's not me. I'm insane. I'm taken over by the void. The goblin's like, you want a mask or you want a gun? And I'm like, I want both. Give it to me. So I'm insane.
Who likes being edgy? Is it me or you? Because I'm confused now.
Well, edgy is when you're tortured and you're a good person.
Sure, Kyle. Sure. You sure are sounding like your impression of a blood elf last week. Like, so tormented that I've gone insane.
That's what I'm saying. The demon hunters and the blood elves are. Which granted, big pile of points right here and dunking them right on top. Lord Eye Patch there of the blood elves. Like I did Siege of Orgrimmar for the very first time. He was telling Jaina to just F off. It was great. Jaina was nuts, by the way. Like what a crazy lady. Oh my goodness.
She's supposed to be.
Yeah, she was not having a good time in Siege of Orgrimmar.
Garrosh murdered her best friend.
Though, who was having a good time in Siege of Orgrimmar? That seemed bad. And like just doing it and critting everything down, particularly Spoils of Pandaria, just made no sense.
I did not rate it at the time. I don't even remember the fight.
You had to run around and open in boxes really fast.
That does sound dumb.
Then, like, the final, I like the Claxi, but it's the Lords of the Claxi, and then you go to Garrosh, and, like, he's like, I hate everything corrupted, and just dumps corruption on himself, and you're like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, what? You're picking and choosing. So, I get it. I get why people were so upset about Siege of Orgrimmar now. I would not have wanted to raid that for 8 months to a year.
I mean, really, it came down to the fact that we were stuck on it for too damn long. More than anything else, but
it just wasn't great. Like Throne of Thunder, that was sweet. That was solid. You got him with his Magneto holders, and
that was to me the Ulduar of Pandaria. It was such a treat. Like it was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Like I don't know, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Except Ice Crown was good. Ice Crown was really good too. It's just Ulduar was a sleeper, man. We weren't expecting it to be that good.
Well, and it was funny too because I opened up the area on both Alliance and and Horde because I was dressing up my Paladin. I boosted my Paladin for our Alliance weekend book club, and I ain't got no outfits. So I'm walking around with, the starter gear, and I don't have any played in my transmog sets. And Paladin Hall, is bumping, man. Nobody gives a crap about Priest Order Hall, but Paladin, everybody's hanging out in there.
It's a really cool order hall.
I liked Priest. It was, a big ass crystal church, but
I don't like Draenei architecture because I hate crystal tech, so it bores me.
Yeah, maybe the tinging got to people because, Paladin Order is still kind of classic. And the Priest Order is like, ding, 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 and you're like, oh, okay, I've had enough of this.
Yeah, I don't really like hanging out in a wind chime.
Yeah.
I want flying buttresses.
I like the Priest. Priests have better setups for their training dummies. I'll say that.
Fair.
Because they have like demons chained in there that you're blasting while you test things, and Paladins are just hitting target dummies.
I just like this idea of this giant, crazy Indiana Jones cathedral under a tiny little shack cathedral above ground.
Yeah, it's cool, but it is fun how just like mad bro they are. Like everything is just like, Paladins, come. Ah, crap. This is kind of lame. We should invite a priest to do the lame stuff. Hey, Mr. Priest, what's going on? We'd healed ourselves, but this is kind of lame. So we called you in. There's something to do with spirits, or something stupid like that. We good? We good? All right, I'm going to go get my artifact weapon.
I'm going to go work on my vape rig, bro.
Yeah. I'm going to do some curls while I wait on you.
What do you mean we're out of Darnasian Blue? You're hurting my gains.
It's been fun. It's been fun exploring, but what you learn very quickly with the Alliance is that the Horde is an ever-present issue for them, whereas on the Horde side, we've got the world issues, right? Like, we're like, the Throne of Thunder, we must siege it. It could be dangerous in there. And then Jane is standing there like, the Throne of Thunder, I bet it's full of dirty Horde, and I hate them all. And like, I bet they're messing it up, and they're going to ruin our invasion of the Legion. And the Horde are like, we got to stop the Legion.
Yeah, fair. It's this is where I think they might be taking the story in BFA, because we were promised morally gray, right? On both sides, and so far we've just gotten Alliance good, Horde bad.
No. I think if anything, well, sure, Horde bad, right? Like, and morally gray through multiple characters as Bane, right? Bane,
Bloodhoof.
Bane is like
son of Cairn,
and he got a chin touch and a champion. He wanted that so long. Finally, Thanos getting some attention. But
I think he's getting a lot more attention behind closed doors.
Maybe. Good for him. I say good for him. He was so stoked. It was adorable how he was like, come on. And everyone's like, well, what about Saurfang? He's like, shut up. This is my turn, finally. Thanos is in the spotlight. But yeah, did you see the Dead Scar they made? I mean, we helped, but Alliance made it. They were moving those war machines.
Oh, dude, the whole just setting, like how they've touched up Lordaeron and the kind of war battlefield out the front that looks like a straight out of Braveheart. It's amazing. Yeah,
but like the destruction that they move through with moving those massive war machines, all the supplies to rebuild Brill. I mean, I'd say there's your gray right there.
They were justified. Like, so justified at that point because of the burning of Teldrassil.
They burnt our tree. Let's go kick some plants in Silverpine Forest. Yeah, take that. We're going to mess you up.
Yeah, like the loss of Lordaeron at the end of the day is Sylvanas is doing more than the Alliances. Like, they just messed up their lawn. Like... That's like, you damn kids, get off my lawn. I spent a lot of time on that. That's how bad the Alliance gets, whereas the Horde straight up genocide. But
also, they don't plan ahead at all. And if Jaina hadn't showed up...
Anduin's a terrible leader. Anduin's an idiot. Like, what was his plan? Hope Jaina saves my ass twice? Because that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he could have, like, bubble hearthed or something.
Yeah, but he brought the rest of the Alliance leadership with him, What do they all do? They're not paladins.
No, well, I mean, what you hold your breath and aspect of the beast, and I'm not sure what Greymane does, but he's been through a lot.
Well,
already.
if he has his kit from Heroes, he human form dodge rolls.
Yeah, it stealths out.
Yeah, stealths out. Sadly, he'd be stealthing back through some blight because that whole room was covered. But
misses his cocktail.
Yeah, the point I was trying to get to, Kyle, is that I think when we get into BFA, that Jaina is going to bring a kind of balance to the war crime scale.
Yes,
because she's crazy. And I had missed. They have a comic out called Reunion. And it's about Jaina going back to Kul Tiras and like disguising herself and intermingling with the local Kul Tirans and seeing where they're at emotionally. And they are crazy, radical racists.
Oh, dude, they are sweet. Like I haven't spoiled it for myself. I know the Druid forums, but from everyone I've talked to, it's a horror. It's a horror book. The whole
it's
island.
Tristram.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited. And that's like 90% of the reason I'm even doing my Alliance book club on the weekend is to see that play sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'm way more excited for the Alliance zones than I am for the Horde, but I'm going to level Horde first.
Well, we got, I want to get a new dino. My old Raptor's a little moldy.
Yeah, you should have bought the digital collectors. You get a Raptor right out the get-go. Looks great.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Kristen got the collector's edition for herself, and as soon as she activated, it's like, where you get this? And I'm like, no, what have I done? I skipped out.
I gotta unlock the Zandalari as soon as humanly possible. I really want to race change my warrior to one.
They're cool.
They look so great, and I'm so mad I can't just play one out the gate. It's the thing that's bummed me out more than anything, more than any disagreement or offense I take to the writing of Sylvanas' character. I think the biggest bummer in BFA is that the frickin' allied races aren't available at launch.
Yeah, and I of course didn't unlock the Horde allied races because screw that rep grind. But on my boosted paladin, he was all ready to go, and it was cool to go to the Anduin. He actually had like a Stormwind embassy that you met them all in, and you chose which one you wanted to pursue and whatnot.
Yeah, the Horde has that too. There's an embassy in both Orgrimmar and Stormwind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't see it being as classy of an affair.
No, it's it's kind of a skin hut like all of the architecture in Orgrimmar is.
Yeah.
Skin hut sounds like a really dirty place you probably don't want to go to.
Probably, yeah. Don't sign into the Orgrimmar skin hut.
Yeah. Just unlock the damn races. Just treat it like Blood Elves. Treat it like Draenei. Just give me the races.
Well, I mean, do you have any pre-expansion traditions for yourself?
Not really, because like once college was over, man, real life took hold.
Yeah.
Like in college, for BC and Lich King, we had a party. People came over. Everyone brought their computers. We ordered a bunch of pizzas. We all gathered round. Multiple towers were blowing hot air into each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in game at this point.
Oh, in game, not really. It's just play, get in, start questing.
I have one. Only one I do. I update my hair to one shade lighter because I got older.
Oh, I have done that. But most of my characters that I care about are so old I can't get any whiter.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah, man, I forgot about that. It's just that it's kind of over.
I now play Terras's Apprentice Yeth, so I've got plenty of options. I started nice and dark last expansion.
I haven't changed my Blood Elf Pally. He still has black hair just because it looks so rad. But
sure.
I don't think I'm going to play him anytime soon. If I do, he's going to age.
Well, you're going to do the Demon Hunter you're thinking about. That's the one that gets all big craggle-backed, right?
Yeah, if you're in tank spec, yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Looks like something out of Gargoyles. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
I even I named it as close to Demona as I could because it's a female blood elf.
Was Demona the red-haired?
Yeah.
Nice.
The crazy badass, basically the Vegeta of Gargoyles.
Yeah.
Like, I'm bad, I'm good. I'm bad, I'm good. Make up your mind. I love Gargoyles.
Troubled.
One of my favorite shows ever. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, we got a bunch of World of Warcraft questions.
Sure.
Sent to the show. Sourfang for War Chief, aka at Sir Prowls, writes in and says, with BFA about to launch, do you have any predictions as to where the story is heading? Also, what are you guys maining in this expansion? I'm going strong with Prot Paladin. Well, yeah, I don't know, man. I think I think the launch theme is going to be, we should be just as afraid of Jaina as we are of Sylvanas. I think that's going to become apparent pretty soon into questing out in BFA, no matter what zone you're in.
Yeah, something that Allied Races quest made clear is that on the NPC side of things, the armies are taxed. And we need these allies in order to even participate in an upcoming war. And I do wonder if they're going to be like, damn, Sylvanas kind of nuked her own troops there. We need to get some new people as well on top of that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be step one. Doing the boost, I got to play through the now altered again airship battle, which sadly is quite a bit lamer when they're like, hold up, here come Wind Riders. Like, okay, like Infernals and Demons raining on the boat. A bit more dramatic than a couple of Horde Wind Riders. Yeah,
but that's the problem, right? With Legion being, we must save the universe, and Battle for Azeroth being like, we have a mild disagreement.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole the battle on the battlefield and the battle at home kind of drama, which will work out to be eventually as dramatic, and in fact more so is the idea. Jaina definitely throws quite the wrench into the whole business, and I'm excited to see where she goes. And lots of people are predicting Greymane's death. I'm still kind of riding the idea that Sylvanas is either, is hopefully not emperoring on purpose in this kind of way, like doing the whole, like, I'm getting everyone ready for a greater evil. It's like, well, I'm okay with that when we get there. She's like, oh, crap. She's like about to throw the bomb, and she's like, oh, I should throw this at that instead. You guys are kind of right, I guess. And then we throw it at N'Zoth or whatever. Like, that's cool, but let's just not have her preconceive all these things. But we have, she was promoted by the Loa, and we're going to go to Loa Town. So I'm curious to see where that goes.
Yeah, I'm wondering how we reconcile Vol'jin's decision. Because so far it seems like he made a big mistake.
Yeah. What he was in, how'd he do in Warlords of Draenor? I didn't see any of that.
We didn't really see much of him at all.
Yeah, so kind of his whole...
Very much like Jaina. Like, Jaina has this huge character pivot during Pandaria, and because Theramore blew up right before it, and then disappears pretty much during Draenor. She shows up a couple times in Draenor, not much, and same with Vol'jin. Like, you don't really see him in game.
Yeah. So is the disappointment his war chief selection, or is it that he just didn't really do much outside of that?
Well, it's that right now, with the information we have, it looks like Sylvanas is a psycho, and she doesn't give a shit about her own people, and she just wants to win and not die because she has seen hell, and she doesn't want to go back.
Well, she did supply the mass, and
right,
I love how into it they were, man. All the end, she's like, bring forth the gas, and they're like, yes, milady, all right.
Yeah, see, that's the point. Like, at this point, I'm like, okay, this is our Sylvanas, and I'm just rolling with it. And because of that, dude, Lordaeron was great. Like, when Anduin walks in that throne room, and she's just sitting on the throne, like, side saddle, like, hello, little lion. Like, she's a great villain at this point. Yeah. Like, if I just accept that this is the character Sylvanas is going to be, she's a really fun villain. I just didn't want her to be a villain is the problem.
Yeah.
But once I accept that, now I can have fun with this because, it's so pulpy. It's delicious. Wonderful pulp.
Did you, by the way, the kind of side note here, did you get a listen to the Chris Metzen interview that Scott did?
Dude, it was amazing.
Yeah, that was solid stuff.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to it, folks, it's on the Instance feed right now. Scott sat down with Chris Metzen for interview number 2. And I told him on the Instance, and I will repeat it here, I think the 2 interviews he's done with Chris Metzen are some of, if not the best podcasts I've ever listened to. They really hit home for me.
And often we're having emotional responses, even on this show. But in the background, we both went pretty artsy-fartsy with our professions and our schooling. And I hope that gives people the language they need to talk about art they don't agree with. And that was probably the really powerful thing that came out of that interview. So if you're still upset about where the story's going in World of Warcraft, and if you feel like Not My War Chief in an angry kind of way, definitely check that out, because it's a calming thing.
It's a really healthy discussion around all of that.
Yeah.
And Metzen's got a really level head about it, especially for someone who was in the crosshairs for so long.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely, and if you look at his Twitter too, I mean, he started tweeting a month ago for the first time in 3 years, so he definitely got free of it for a good long while, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Granted, like I've been saying this whole time, I'm along for the ride. I love it. I love Evil Sylvanas. From the second it even started going that direction, I'm like, come on. So I was already rooting for this all to happen.
Yeah. It's good. But to answer Sir Crowell's question about like where we think this is heading, like, yeah, if we're on Greymane Deathwatch, that continues. I've been on Greymane Deathwatch since the beginning of Legion. So it's kind of like saying Diablo 4 is going to be at BlizzCon. Eventually we'll be right.
Yeah.
So that's not at the tip top. I really think it's Sylvanas and Jaina are going to just be button heads because of their vindictiveness. And but I don't know where that goes. I don't think they can both die. I don't think they can both be redeemed.
I'm curious to see where the Azeroth business is heading.
That seems the least interesting to me.
But there's a lot of holes. I mean, certainly, like, at this point, the characters are in the spotlight. But, she made an Azeroth war machine that you fought on one side and defended on the other. And even, Father, give me strength. Come on, Anduin.
Also, by the way, that was Garrosh 2.0 is all get out. It's just like, oh, look, more Iron Horde bullshit.
Well, I mean, what Zappy Fuse or Black Fuse invented all that stuff, and you're not going to throw it away. I mean, it's literally in your giant basement. I guess she probably still has the giant basement.
I know, but for all the people laying like, it's not Garrosh 2.0, and I'm just like, oh, look, a new giant war machine that murders indiscriminately.
Well, I'm curious how the Zandalari and the Kultiran are going to interact with Azeroth. Has it been on their island longer? Is it a new thing? Are they worshiping it over on the troll side as often they do? They're like, oh, crap, something we don't understand, man. Like, let's worship it and put it on a pedestal, and we'll invite an old spirit into it. Whatever. Raid my boss.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, it's more likely that Sylvanas will redeem herself and that Jaina will just become irredeemable. But this is also me wanting Vol'jin to be, like, I don't want his death to be ruined. Like, they did so little with Vol'jin. I was so excited when he became War Chief, and then he just, like, disappears for all of Draenor, shows up at the beginning of Legion, dies, and makes Sylvanas War Chief. So, like, if Sylvanas doesn't really do anything for the greater good, then I really feel like Vol'jin was just kind of wasted as well.
Yeah, I would really expect him to make an appearance in the Zandalari stuff, if nothing else, as a vision, as a spirit, as a counselor of some kind.
He's gonna Obi-Wan ghost from a certain point of view Sylvanas.
Yeah, I think so. And I don't know where that and that's where I'm really confused on Jaina. Granted, like I said, I just ran Siege of Orgrimmar this weekend. I just learned that she kind of kicked everybody out of the Kultiran when she went nuts too, and it's like, whew, man, girl. I was like, high elves are fine, but everybody else out. Okay.
Wait,
kind of your faction, bro.
Wait, hold on. What character is this?
Oh, Jaina kicked everybody out of the Kultiran when all the Hordes out of the Kultiran. That's why there's no orcs standing around with wizard hats anymore. Because she got all pissed at Garrosh and wouldn't let him into the Kultiran anymore.
You mean the Kirin Tor?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
How could I have done this?
No. It's just that's why I was getting confused. I'm like, what are you talking about? The Kultiran? We're not even there yet.
You're right.
Yes, Kirin Tor.
But
it wasn't just Jaina. Garrosh murdered the leader of the Kirin Tor in the Battle of Theramore.
True.
Like, Ronan is obliterated. He's dust. There's nothing to bury because of Garrosh.
Yeah, he didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and they stayed their hand. Like, after Theramore happens, first Jaina goes to the Alliance and is like, hey, Varian, we gotta attack Orgrimmar. And he's like, yeah, I don't really feel like it. Sorry. And then she's like super pissed, and she goes to the Kirin Tor like, they killed your leader. This is the worst. Let's port Dalaran above Orgrimmar and bomb it with all the mages that live here. And they've like, nah, that's a little much. Which is a shame, because I would have loved to have seen that visually.
But then Varian interrupts Thrall about to smash his head on the ground. Okay. Ugly ass Varian too. Oh, whoa, dude! Mashed potatoes, Varian win.
Yeah, tech has gotten better, Kyle.
Yeah, it's a little nicer.
Tech has gotten better. So yeah, the fact that there are no more Horde in the Kirin Tor, that to me totally makes sense. Justified. Make the destination was dictated by the journey.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so that's where I think it's going. And eventually, I think it's going to be N'Zoth. Like, there's going to be butting heads from crazy Sylvanas, crazy Jaina. We're going to have to. We know we're going to deal with not Lady Vosh.
Ajara.
We're going to have to deal with Ajara at some point. So that's going to be a somewhat neutral bad. But then I think after that, it's just going to be like, oh shit, N'Zoth is here. Dudes, this is the one old god we haven't dealt with, and it's the ocean, deep sea old god, and we're in the nautical expansion.
Tell me about what in Frozen Throne. Wasn't there like a horde fight on the way to the peak, like Alliance versus Horde?
Yes, airship battle.
I guess, could that be what happens in each expansion kind of thing to keep that through line going? So,
what do you mean?
We hate the big bad, but yes, we're still at war.
Oh, well, to a certain degree, yeah, but that's its own thing. And then immediately after that, both sides fight Sourfang's son, turned Death Knight, and regardless of what faction you're playing as, Sourfang shows up, takes his son's body, and the Alliance allow it.
Interesting.
So
I'm curious how they'll work that out. I would really like, I'd love like Ajara to be sitting on a throne of Azerite and have that be a story beat. Like one of the sides actually beats her. Regardless of that, everybody gets to raid her. One side gets the goods.
Well, I mean, sometimes they do that. They make a canon dictation at the end. Like with the Sourfang's son thing in Ice Crown, the canon is that the Alliance kill him and Varian allows Sourfang Sr. to come in and bury his son. So
okay,
you might see that. You might see something of that nature. But
bring it.
It's not always that important either that we have a canon death or how it went down.
No. But even if it's just you beat the final boss and Sylvanas is like, good, we got the Azerite, and then Jaina's like, haha, I got the Azerite, and flies away, and that's the final cutscene. Like.
So,
just keep that
and then where
going.
in the world is Carmen Sandiego plays? Is that what you're getting? All right. Where in the world
just keep
of
the
Warcraft?
pressure going. I don't want to fart off on there's a greater evil here. In fact, I have no idea what I think Khadgar is going to have to fart off this whole expansion. I have no idea what he would even get to participate in.
Fair. Anyway, John Jagger wrote in, wants to know, in honor of today's launch, which Warcraft race, regardless of faction, do you think most personifies you? Also, if different, which one do you empathize most with?
Ain't different for me, and it's Troll. I feel like I'm on my happy little island of the internet, and people are always being like, hey, you pissed off about this, Troll? I'm like, no, man. It's all pretty good here. How's it over there? It sucks. Everything sucks. You should come help us. And I'm like, I'll help. But I'm going to be happy for it. All right? Yeah, well, we're going to be unhappy the whole time, so deal with it. All right, Mon.
Fair. I mean, for the longest time, I would say the Blood Elves because they've got the most amazing hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they really like having a nice looking zone. They've got wonderful threads. You know, they take care of themselves. They're all about the manscaping.
Horribly addicted to magic.
Yeah, like I feel if, any race in World of Warcraft is going to make a badass cocktail, it's got to be the Blood Elves.
That's fair. It certainly tastes like batteries.
What?
It'd have a ting. You'd be like, ooh, did you put pop rocks in that? And I did. Do you like it?
Yes, it's got a crystallized rim of mana crystals.
Yes, please enjoy. Ask for salt.
Yeah, it's them and the goblins. I think the goblins might actually make some pretty, I feel like they could do some sweet cocktails.
Yeah, well, but goblins would be the one that's either on fire or it's got actual chemical in it.
True.
Fair. And you're like, whew, that hits like a truck. What was that? Fair. Truck oil. Yeah. It's good.
But as I've gotten older, dude, I really like just the old bearded warrior. I'm too old for this shit. So I'm really coming around to humans and orcs, the traditional fantasy races. I really miss Varian. His death affected me more than I thought it was going to. And I'm really enjoying what they're doing with Sourfang. That's just it's a fantasy trope I really enjoy.
Well, and that's what I had to do for my human paladin is, I just want to crush orc, just whatever, man. That human personification works so perfectly there.
Yeah. As for which I empathize with, it's the Tauren. They've been through so much shit. No race deserves to lead the Horde more than the Tauren, in my mind. They have been through so much crap. Their last leader died for no reason. He was a wonderful leader and was murdered by Garrosh in combat. And just Bane's had to put up with so much shit, man. They're on the same level as the Night Elves because they got the Druids and they're in touch with the world. But man, the Night Elves have this long history of hubris and trying to grow world trees just because they want their immortality back.
No, that's fair. And the introduction of the Tauren is straight up, oh, you dudes are honorable? Well, crap, we're honorable too, and we kind of look weird, and so humans want to kill us. Let's join forces. All right. For the trolls, it's definitely you're in old war crime photos. What? Is that Hitler orc? Is that your dad standing next to him? Oh, we hate all trolls, man. We hate you forever. And it's what have we done recently? What are you upset about? All right, well, we'll just join up. Fine, everyone's going to try to kill us anyway. But you're right. The Tauren are actively always trying to make the world a better place, it seems, and just not having a great time with it.
Yeah, we've screwed them over on both sides of the factions so many times. Bane for War Chief, man. I want Bane to be War Chief.
Yeah.
That's who I'm going for. But yeah. Kind of in the same vein, Jordan wrote in and says, if we were able to get a drink with any Warcraft character, who would it be and why?
Most recently, it would definitely be, who is Lord Eye Patch? Because he was a hoot.
Lorthamar?
I just enjoyed his perspective.
Yeah, it's Lorthamar Theron is his full name. Yeah, I find him very cool.
Though he might be a bit of a dick about it, a bit snooty, I'm sure.
a little bit, yeah, a little bit, maybe.
So I'll think on it for a moment. What do you got?
Oh, I'd want to sit down with Death Knight Whitemane. She's had to make some adjustments to her worldviews, being risen as a now undead and made one of the Four Horsemen.
I watched Kristen do some of her class haul this last weekend for Death Knight.
The best class haul, without a doubt. If you haven't done it, I highly recommend it. By the way, speaking of the Paladin class hall, the Death Knights straight up attack it and murder Paladins.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there's such a wild card sitting there. Is it Bolivar?
Bolvar.
Bolvar.
There's no middle A. So Bolvar is the new Lich King.
Right. And he is selecting you as your champion because he wants to, like, infuse and help out, but he's not whispering in every Death Knight head?
No, pretty much just yours.
Okay.
Tell Kristen, by the way, if she isn't... what is she leveling through as?
She's a gnome. This is for our...
No, I meant, spec-wise.
Blood, I think.
Okay. If she's not too married to it, swap over to Frost, because your artifact weapon is made from the shards of Frostmourne, and echoes of Arthas appear to you only if you play as that spec as you do your class quests throughout the whole continent.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
I like that stuff. I forgot about it, too, because I was walking, when I first resubbed, I was walking through Dalaran with my Scarlet Crusade staff. And there's always people being like, what is that? Be careful with that. Where did you find that? Put that away. Like NPCs in Dalaran will just yell at you as you walk around.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is cool. Of course.
And then Naifu. Oh, that's cute. It's cute.
The what?
Naifu? The waifu Naifu? Oh. The shadow knife that whispers sweet nothings into your ears while you're using it.
I have not heard that term. That's great.
It's pretty cute.
That's wonderful. But yeah, or just go look them up online, so she doesn't have to change her specs. But the Echoes of Arthas around the Broken Isles is it's awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah, and he's talking such mad shit about Bolvar, like the new Lich King. He's just like, he's just using you. like it's great. It's the coolest thing I've done in Warcraft. They really hit the class fantasy.
But jump back to Sarafang for War Chief question there. That's an element I forgot about. And I would not be opposed. I would much rather, instead of sieging Undercity, now cleansed or pissed off infused N'Zoth, the Banshee Queen, I would not mind if she's like, I need all undead allies, and she goes, kicks his ass, puts on the helm, and that's the thing. Because he's just sitting there doing nothing. That's either next expansion, which kind of feels just weird to even think about right now.
I've been talking about WoW in so many different places. I'm not sure where I mentioned this, but I did have the thought that if she's so worried about the undead going extinct because it can't reproduce, if you could somehow free the Scourge, that's a lot more undead.
And even and John's question here made me think of it because he's got a theory that I love, that it's just the greatest showdown of Ultimate Destiny, where she puts on the Lich King crown, reses Deathwing, and just like greatest hits of all time, undead style, has at the world.
Oh my god. So we just retread Arthas bringing back Sindragosa, but it's Sylvanas and she brings back Deathwing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'd be okay with that, which kind of plays into the next question. Jason Richard also asked where we thought the storyline would be going up to, and we kind of already talked about that, but he had a bonus question, which was, what do you think the next expansion will be? And my best guess is dealing with Bolvar or whoever the Lich King will be.
Right. That it seems like the next thread. And they did Argus so well with the releases, and there's so much hate against the time gating, but it's perfect for me. I really enjoy it.
I didn't mind it at all. Well, time gating in the like Argus and whatnot, that is kind of, it gets kind of annoying. But as far as like pre-patch or pre-expansion stuff, everyone was so mad. I'm like, what's wrong? I thought this was great. I liked it.
Yeah, it was well paced. If you didn't turn on war mode, you missed half of the trials of it in the first place and the fun. But I think it was Creed messaged me on Twitter and told me a great analogy that when they give you a cake, they give you a whole cake, and they're like, "Hey, here's your cake for the next week," and you go and you eat the whole cake, and you're like, "Oh, I have a stomach ache. I want more." Like, that was your whole cake for the week. You were supposed to ration it. You were supposed to enjoy yourself. Take your time. Savor it. But you ate it all in one go, and now you have a tummy ache, and you're complaining at me, and you want more. Like, what do you want from us?
I mean, I think you should just play however you want. And also, it's an MMO. There's a million and one other things you should do. Or, I don't know, do something else. That's fine, too. That's
they turned
I
on
binge
that
it.
pet battle bonus XP. You could have gotten that.
Yeah, that's what I do. I have other things I need to get done. So I binge play it because I know I only have X amount of time to play. I binge play it, and then I go get some work done. Or I go play some Hearthstone. Or I go play some Heroes. Or I go do something else in World of Warcraft, like do some transmog runs.
Yeah, which are fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I've been trying to, because I have like nothing leather-wise for my Demon Hunter. So I've been going back and trying to get some leather digs so I'm not just always running around in a sports bra.
So this was the next expansion. If it's not that... the reason I bring up Argus is because I don't know how many islands are going to come online during this event as they sort of expand the world. People are saying that this map is too small, but they've proven to us in this last expansion that this map obviously gets bigger as we go.
Right, and at some point you will be visiting the other faction's island.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be fine. Plus, yeah, like you said, we know they're going to add more. They've been adding more every expansion ever. We even got like all the way back to BC. We got freaking, the Sunwell showed up.
That would be a frightening place to go, and another obvious is BC. They even changed the level scaling so you can just skip it. And Wrath of the Lich King 2 is pretty moldy in terms of mechanics.
Oh, you mean going back to either Outland or Northrend?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, you could always... Here's a new island south of Northrend, but the Lich King is pushing up to it. Or down to it, I guess.
Yeah, are there any class order holes that actually go to BC?
Not that I know
because there's
of.
Lots of cool stuff that happens in Northrend.
Not that I know of.
Yeah. And that would suggest that if you are going to quest through Legion, you keep visiting Northrend and Classic, but nobody goes to BC?
Well, actually...
Interesting.
Do shamans? I haven't played... I have, no knowledge of shamans. That would make sense because that's where the Earthen Ring is.
Oh, are they still kicking it there?
Yeah. Yeah, they're out in the Grand. But whatever the case is. Yeah, I could see. Cataclysm was weird though, man. Like redoing old content. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, and it had to happen because the world was getting older. But I'm actually giving a quick. No, that's Mogu.
Yeah, chat room's bringing up Void Lords, like not like the Warlock Demon, but the Lords of the Void, which we really haven't messed with, and priests have been dabbling more and more with the Void.
Yeah, that's true. We like to dabble.
So that's another potential, but it's been kind of quiet on that front, except for a couple hints. So I don't know. Although I guess it's just as likely as the Lich King, because all of those hints come from a single order class hall. Bolvar being active again. So, I don't know. I'm really pretty stumped as to where we go from here. I think there's a lot of options, and I think that's cool.
I think the extremes are also a lot of fun. Third faction split off for Sylvanas and Hall Her Dead. They made Tauren skeleton models there, and, maybe we're working on undead for all the various races, and they get a whole faction to themselves.
I really do want undead models of all of the races.
Yeah, I know it was a production thing back in the day and just hasn't been altered because that would be quite the rollout naturally. Because I like that they're unique looking, of course. If you just made, crusty dead Taurens and said they're good, but they still hold their mace in that rocky kind of way.
Yeah, hell, I mean, just give them just all the Death Knight, like with creepy undead skin tones. Roll them into Forsaken options.
Yeah. Could be fun.
Yeah, I'd play that. Actually, basically all my characters be undead at that point because they look rad.
But it seems like they have all the tools they need to continue telling their story, and I don't expect WoW 2. I don't think this is the end of World of Warcraft, the final expansion.
I don't think that will ever happen. Not going to happen. So, we talk about food a lot on the show, Kyle, so I figured we would end with this. Drizzling Rose didn't send this in specifically for the show, but she did ask on Twitter yesterday what I thought would be good launch, marathon food for like the week of the launch of BFA. And I just found it so amusing because it made me stop and think that my answer now is very different from what it was back in college.
But what was it then and what is it now?
Well, I said young me with the bulletproof stomach of steel would say just tacos and frozen pizzas. Just buy a bunch of ground beef, freeze that shit. When you want tacos, just throw it in a skillet and just microwave some tortillas and oven frozen pizzas. That's what got me through Lich King launch, and it was great. It was fine.
Yeah,
but older me would say pre-cook a bunch of chicken and some veggies, throw them in Tupperware or Ziploc baggies, chuck them in the fridge. And what I'd like to do is also pre-cook a ton of brown rice, and I'll just do little stir fries as I get hungry. And it's food you made yourself. That's a lot healthier than anything you're going to get from takeout.
Yeah, I can't marathon like I used to. My not like a soreness or like an incapableness of my knees to sit in a chair for an extended period of time, but I just get antsy, and I'm so used to doing stuff and taking regular breaks that I can't really go over 3 hours. So, we're gonna game if available 3 to 6 probably. Then I'll get up for an hour and a half and cook a dinner and we'll eat it. And it's gonna be asparagus, chicken, and brown rice, right? Like it's everything the body needs in that way. And then we'll get back to it. And
I still think I want to like kind of food prep just so I'd spend less time cooking so I can also get more work done so I can play more World of Warcraft.
Sure.
That's kind of where my mind's at. But yeah, I don't know. I can still totally marathon World of Warcraft, by the way. Like new single player content. I can totally play 4 or 5 hour stints.
I definitely ration myself because I know it goes on, and I like that. When it comes to like a story game, that sucker's got to be dead. I've got a life to live. So, like XCOM, that was every Friday for 8 hours straight or so, until it was defeated.
Yeah. We're not sponsored by HelloFresh, but one of those food box services, that'd be good. They do sponsor Angry Chicken.
We actually had Jimmy John's for the first time in 6 years last night.
It's been a while since I had Jimmy John's. I had like a zero chill rage moment at Jimmy John's because 3 hours went by and our food never showed up. And I called them like, hey, where's our sandwiches? They're like, oh, yeah, we don't deliver to where you were at. And I'm like, well, A, you've delivered to us like 5 times. B, were you gonna tell us? Because you charged me over the phone. I was screaming at them. Yeah.
They're kids.
Yeah, so they're on my shit list. Now I just drive even further to Jersey Mike's.
Fair enough. I respect the shit list. It's important to stand by. I'm a talk with my wallet kind of guy, and we all have different experiences and get behind different companies because we're lucky enough. Like Lord Garethos, I think of that. I'm like, oh, the Night Elves or the Blood Elves could have had a better first welcoming party. Maybe this all would have gone a little better if Lord Garethos wasn't leading the damn thing. But, you deal with the hand you get. And my dad hated Blockbuster.
Wait, okay, you've lost me. I have been bucked from the Kyle Bronco.
Lord Garethos, Warcraft 3. The racist human. Inhuman. We humans have to stick together.
Okay.
What
does this have to do with Blockbuster?
What? Oh, yeah. My dad hated Blockbuster, so that was my representation of brand loyalty growing up.
Ah, gotcha.
Gotcha. Blockbuster was avoided like the plague, and we spent a lot of time in grocery store rental hallways. I
mean, we did a lot of non-Blockbuster, but that was just because there was a mom and pop rental joint that was really close to our house.
Yeah.
But I loved Blockbuster. I miss it. But off topic nonetheless. So yeah, just don't get sick because you're gonna lose game time, man, if you're on the toilet.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you got like a really light, not burning hot laptop.
I mean, just it's true too.
I wouldn't recommend it. It's
no,
not wise
Where are you gonna put your mouse? Are you using the touchpad? You gotta like set up a table
if
in
you're
there.
questing, you can get away with a touchpad.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I did to my younger body that I just don't feel like sitting through anymore.
Yeah. So I'll get takeout tonight, but we're just gonna live a relatively normal life for the rest of the week. So that's gonna do it. Thanks for your questions, everybody. Keep them coming. You can write in via email to amovetv@gmail.com. Make sure you put Weeksauce somewhere in the subject line. Before we go, both of us are making all kinds of other content around the web. Kyle, where can everybody find you?
You can find me, well, throughout today. I know this probably won't be in your ears at then, but throughout the week over at twitch.tv/Kyle Ferguson, playing Heroes of the Storm. And let's say it again. You can find me over on Frog Pants on Fridays now at noon Pacific time, so 3 p.m. Eastern, playing some World of Warcraft.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I'll be there. Scott will be there. We'll probably have some guests. So check that out. I'm Garrett Art on Twitter. Shoot me a tweet there. It's where I pulled all the questions for today's episode. And everything else I do is at amove.tv. If you want to hear a deep dive into my thoughts about Jaina, and also it kind of just turned into a big lore recap for Jaina and the parts that I think are important to her character going into BFA, check out my solo show. It's called R2T2. You can find it by searching for R2-T2 wherever podcasts are found. The most recent episode is all about Jaina. So go check it out. And these are short. It's a solo show. They're usually under 30 minutes. So if you want something to listen to while you're waiting for WoW to update, it probably should already be updated while you're waiting to get through the queue, because it's probably going to be one. Go subscribe to R2T2. I really have a lot of fun for that show. I get to kind of experiment. It's never the same format every week. And so go check that out. I appreciate everybody listening to that podcast as well. But that's going to do it. Again, we will see you Thursday for Into the Nexus, the two of us, and we'll see you Friday when we stream some Battle for Azeroth with Scott Johnson. But until then, good luck and have fun, everybody.
Take care in the world of Warcraft.